Good morning. It is morning here in the Pacific Northwest. Hi, my name is Cynthia Green. I am originally from Bristol Bay, Alaska, and I have been in the Pacific Northwest for decades now. Today is my goal day. Check YouTube live. I would like to talk about thoughts, how to perceive today as a new day. God says, "Behold, I have made a new day. Can you not perceive it?" My thoughts for that is God has gifted us a new day, 24 hours. And our perception is to be stewarded to where we can perceive it as new, conceive into our heart, and receive it and allow it to come to pass, become. We are to choose wisely, choose life or death. I got my prayer gratitude journal. I have been lax on doing them. But I would like to say how we can become good stewards of how we can perceive it as a new day. A lot of the time, we bring yesterday into today. We think thoughts about, on average, over 52,000 words a day. And most of the words, 95% of them, apparently, are repetitive thoughts, words that we bring from yesterday into today. And how we get to create from a new day is learning terms, words. Well, my English language is my second language, and I had to study words, what they meant, and what to how to compile them in a language. So when, well, my dad, he did not go to school, and my mom went to third grade. So can you imagine? From a very tiny village, I was so excited to go to school. I taught myself English. I read books. My older brother started school, and I begged him to bring me something to teach me. And learning terms and translating them to another language, you really have to expand your, how would I say that? It's not empathy, it's not compassion, it's walking in somebody's shoes, per se. What their intention was in saying that word, how they said it, their tone, their attitude, those things I had to look and learn to decipher. If the teacher was in a bad mood and they were teaching on a word in our textbook, some words were not expounded on, they were degraded. But overall, I've learned to slow down and think carefully what the word meant. And if I perchance got home and my parents asked me what I learned or what the word meant, I had to learn to decipher, to explain the whole of it to another person. And learning from a textbook that was from a city view, not from a village view, that can be back then a bit difficult. They would test us on things that uh, we didn't have, like a little red fire engine. It wasn't a little red fire engine, that kind of thing, but can you imagine? We didn't have roads, we didn't have cars, but that was the thing that um, I had to look at and perceive. Learning that word overall, I've learned to go way around, describe everything, the whole intention, and everything involving it uh, by that rote, ROTE, by rote. But it's interesting for me to realize that that background helped me to understand more of intentionality, understand more of the gray, if it's yes or no or maybe. Now, when God says, behold, that means to look carefully, to look upon with absolutely no being empty. Like, I'm here receiving this new day. Our perception, if we don't open it as being a new day, we will bring what we usually do out of habit automatically. One morning I had a meditation thing that I was practicing, and I had been reading a book that said, "You are not your mind." And meditating helped me to realize that in the morning when I woke up, I had chatter. This is going to happen, that's going to happen, this and this and this. And I had a litany of dialogue. I was listening to myself saying, la, 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 la. And I was like, I didn't realize that out of habit, I would get up and think on these things right away and don't even realize that it is a new day, to stop the litany and focus, learning to focus. I used to wonder why I would be so hasty. I would have I would be so busy and not have enough time. Haste makes waste. I would wonder about that because God says haste makes waste. I was realizing that a lot of my busyness was maintenance. It did not produce the result that I wanted to have. I didn't have goals, I didn't have boundaries, I did not have any dreams. Those realizations come from reading. I like this. Today I pray for. I am thankful for. We have to take time in our busy schedule, make a pause in our life, even if it's 15 minutes, a half hour in your day, to actually think new thoughts, choose new terms. Sometimes I wonder how I survived moving from a whole different state, from my comfort zone, left everything behind to a place that totally did not know anyone, did not have any family, friends. Everywhere I turned, it was totally a strange place. But in my culture, my mother wanted me to be with my daughter while she furthered her education in the big city, Seattle. So I agonized over that for over a year. I had my daughters pray, for we prayed for a year, and miracle of miracles, things happened that are truly miracles that God is with us. So when we practice thinking new thoughts, we will create within us anxiety that, hey, we're usually doing it this way this morning. Hey, what happened? Those things will try to get us back to thinking that it's the same old daily thing. We have no choice. We have this and this to do. But if we were to introduce ourselves there again, if we were to introduce ourselves, the first introduction is your reality is who are you? Sometimes we say, I am a mother of, but that's the description of the teacher. I'm a mother of this child. The teacher describes me that. It's not how I describe myself. These things take time of self reflection, learning who you are, where you'd like to be, what do you want. These types of questions are what I call in the Bible ask and keep asking. I love the warm weather. It's pretty cold up in Alaska. I loved the fact that I didn't have to drive in snow and ice. But these new things create an image in myself, and I get used to. There was a time when we were driving through Canada and we didn't realize it was black ice, and it was shiny black ice. And I was in my car and he was in his truck, and for some reason our son was with him, asked him how God talks to, how do we hear from God? God, how do we hear from him? How do you know he's talking to you? And so he had said, he told him that he talks to us sometimes by action. We see things evolve as we go about our day, and the answer comes by simply doing and realizing that the answer was there all this time. My daughter laughs at that. But not realizing that we were coming across black ice, I was going along and I swerved, and the car started spinning right in the middle of the road. And we had been going about 40, 50 miles an hour. And I thought for a second, oh, I have my girls, my oldest to my right. And I looked back and I looked around. We were spinning. I said, oh, I have to put it in neutral because you don't want to press the brakes on ice because it'll be worse. So I put it in neutral and we started going backwards, flying. And I had to maneuver, looking at the rearview mirror, flying backwards. So I was maneuvering, making sure that we stayed on the road. And then we finally coasted to a stop. That was scary, but that was a miracle. Why was it a miracle? Because after that incident, we went to the next rest It was a little coffee stand or a little store with a bathroom, and of course we wanted to go bathroom because that was scary, and we were all shaking and everything. And as we walked in, there was a there was a semi truck full of logs right out front of that little gas station, food mart or something. And he was telling the cashier of why he had to stop. He does not drink coffee, but all of a sudden he had to get a cup of coffee. He was perplexed, amazed, stupefied, and just was saying out loud. And I thought, wow, that's interesting. Because at the time that we were spinning, he would have been on the road right then and there at that spot. And I thought, that truly is a miracle. How God answers and shows us that He is with us all day long. And to think that it is a new day is our choice. To believe that it's a brand new day, we get to choose how we're going to be, where we are going, and what we can have. We can start planning, we can start doing. Because if we don't do and we decide, I'll do it tomorrow, oh, not today, oh, it's not for me, or it's too late. That used to be my favorite. Oh, it's too late. I'm too old. Uh, I don't know anything about that. I am not at my age learning a new thing. We keep learning and don't ever stop. Don't ever give up. So we think these thoughts all day long, but if we don't take that action, that first step, time will pass anyways. Next year will arrive. Christmas is right around the corner. New Year's Eve resolutions are coming up. And the last quarter of the year, what was it that I planned for? My ideas are they're personal. People have personal choices to make every day. Some people think, well, I don't have time. I don't think I have structure in my life to even dream anything right now. You have 24 hours in one day, 365 days. And God says, do not fear, 365 times for the year. So don't be afraid every day. Expound yourself, expand your horizons. And I was thinking, when we pray, one time I was praying for enlarge my tent, enlarge my this. And not the next day, not the next week, not the next month, but years later, I realized the answer came in a way that I did not expect. It was totally new. He gave me problems after problems. And I was reading a book one day and I said, and in it says, solve people's problems, however many, and you'll be, if you help that many people, you'll be paid that much. And I got to thinking, Last week, when I was talking on my podcast with Podbean, I'm practicing, and I realized in speaking, the ideas that people love to explore are those that expand their horizons through ideas, problem solving. They embrace problems. They look for problems. They create mechanisms, solutions for those problems. Those people change the world by looking for problems. Here, I would run from problems before. I would be comfortable. Don't change or stir the pot. Don't come with me with new ideas and don't tell me your problems. Give me the little problems. I can solve those. But now, with, uh, well, next step is AI, I guess. I'll be learning AI soon. But the next thing that I'm learning now is speaking, expanding the, what was it that scientists call it? Carbon footprint. The internet is a carbon footprint. It is a new area where people look for ideas, they look for creative content, they look for words, terms that would move people. You know, we have words that move us. We love certain words. Some that love their parents, they love the word mom. They use it a lot. Babies. We grew up loving mom. That is one favorite word of most people, mom. To this day, I think of my mom and I bless her. She's in heaven. And in our tradition, family is important. And we think of our siblings, their names. We love those names. We love the places we seek for comfort, for rest, refreshing. I have pictures of the beach, the palm trees. We didn't have palm trees in Alaska. We have bushes, but not palm trees. But I sure love those. I have them on my Facebook profile thing background. The these ideas, these words, they bring emotion to us, stir our hearts. That's why I love the word. Jesus says, I am the word. So we have words that we can sow for a harvest in our life. So learn words, proper, good, report, pure, holy words that you would surround yourself, thrive, energize you. There's some fragrances that I love flowers. There's certain senses that we introduce ourselves, our body, and our mind, and we associate them. We are anchored in them. These ideas that I'm presenting now are random thoughts, yes. They are words that we are to utilize, create into our lives, learning how to create a thought life, a thought pattern, a mindset training. Training is merely the activity. The science word behind that is activity. The habits we're creating. It takes about a month, 2 months for a habit to become automatic. Like, I don't know, brushing my teeth, saying thank you right before I take a sip of my coffee. Excuse me. But the training that I'm talking about is realizing, perceiving. We conceive to receive. In order to receive anything, we have to first know that it's there. I remember when I was growing up and the bell bottoms were, Mom, they have to be bell bottoms. And now they're back again. But I had to have those jeans. I had to have a Barbie doll. But the object had to be presented within my vision. I had to see and look. That's why it's nice to go visit, look at places, look at homes. Some people call it dream building, imagining. That is why our imagination is a, you have to learn how to utilize that as a tool, your imagination, to work vision into your life in a positive tool towards a direction that is your dream. Envisioning, creating, these are just merely ideas, words of a picture or a vision that describe who who you are becoming, what you have, what you are desiring to have, where, and all this stuff. When I first started having nails done, where'd you get your nails done? I was the biggest promoter of the nail salon. That's actually network marketing, MLM. They call it direct sale, where you promote a product or service to somebody and they say, and you promote their business, but you don't get paid for it. That was a line of a meeting that I attended one day, direct sales. But reality check. Today is a new day. Let's begin something new in our life that we have been wanting to become, to have, or do, to be those things. We have to first introduce and look at ways, seek, and keep asking, keep asking. I used to wonder, why does the Bible say ask and ask and ask, keep asking? Well, that is how we come to a place, by asking. We do our GPS, we start from here, and that's the address we want. And the GPS will say, and it'll keep asking wherever we go, and then redirecting, that kind of thing. So when we dream and have a goal or desire, it is because we perceive that we have become worthy in our eyes to have that. Nothing will stop us getting it. That is the thought pattern that we have. In order to get something, we decide and do not look back. That is a good thing to learn to have in our mindset training. And how do we accomplish goals? We set goals and we pat ourselves on the back by doing something new. Yes, it's uncomfortable to some will create anxiety in our life when we'll even doubt and wonder why, how am I even, what will they say? But the day comes and the sun rises, the sun sets. It does come and it will pass. And next year, same time, if we keep doing the same thing, we will keep having the same things. There was a Chinese proverb, I think, or saying that said, if you pray for something new and keep doing the same thing, that's like, why pray? Do you really, really, is it truth that you're seeking? Start there. The truth of you, the truth of what God says you are, who He says you are, what He says you have, how you are. Have we thought out, meditated on it, and deciphered for ourselves, internalizing it by meditation, that it is as God says? Or should we have something take it away? We have gifts that are our own, that God gave us. And in our daily lives, these gifts prominently show up. And it's easy for us to do some things, and to others, totally different thing. And they do something so well, and you're like, I don't know how they do that, but they have that gift. Each one is different, so comparison is out of the question. How you do a thing is different. We get to the same result. I love that. So today we are to think these thoughts: what is pure, what is holy, and a good report. There's so much on good report thinking, but today I am talking about how to perceive today as new and not to bring back the same old words from yesterday into this new day, that you want to create what you want to be, do, and have in your life. It takes incremental steps. The baby doesn't just get up and start running. It takes days and weeks, maybe a month or 2 months for it to stand up, for the baby to stand up, take that first step. They'll be wobbly and fall, cry, and be scared to get back up, but they want to get back up, and they do. They keep going. Be like little children. When you see something, keep getting back up. You will fall and hurt your butt, but keep getting back up. Be inspired by that very idea. I love that. Well, thank you for listening. I love to expound more, but that was a gist of how to perceive. This is a new day, conceiving it into ourselves, into our heart, into our soul and spirit, conceiving it, imagining, and when we picture it as ours, vitally, perfectly clear, crystal clear, we then have received it, and then it'll show up naturally. Thank you. Have a great night. I appreciate that you took time to listen all the way to the end. Have a blessed day.